Hi there, my name's Laidacker, and I'm Director of Creative Technology here at the Mill. Before the Mill, I worked in the mixed reality space, where I was leading as Director of Developer Experience at Magic Leap. And before that, for many years, was in the game industry, leading gameplay and AI teams at Ubisoft. So today I'm going to be talking about creative technology trends in media and entertainment. So for many of us who work with these emerging technologies, things like augmented reality, virtual reality, AI, real-time capture technologies, virtual beings, and crypto, we knew that this area of technology would make its way into mainstream media and entertainment, but we also knew that this radical shift in the way that we build entertainment probably wouldn't happen overnight. 5 years, maybe 10 years or so. So many of us working in this technology space had shifted our focus a lot more towards enterprise and business a few years ago, as there were some clear use cases and easier adoption there. But it's now been over a year since many of us went into lockdown with the pandemic. And when this happened, the entertainment industry was drastically affected. Movie theaters, concerts, theaters, live events almost went away overnight. But in the last year, we've seen some amazing new experiences open up, from online events happening in AltSpace VR, theater coming back with real-time actors controlling 3D characters, online concerts by some of our favorite musical artists being held in gaming worlds. It may have been a crazy past year, but we've seen some amazing examples of entertainment spin up through the collaboration of technologists, artists, directors, and creators across all areas of media and entertainment. We thought that this would take years to get to, but we've really seen this wave of creative technology being used to build new and engaging experiences for audiences to interact with across the globe. So today I'm going to dive into some of these trends that I've seen in the last year across the entertainment industry and look towards some of the future trends that we're starting to see in these spaces. So I'm starting off with talking about gaming, mostly because gaming has been a huge influence across all forms of media and entertainment now for years. People have looked to games to make their mediums more interactive, engaging. Games have progressed from having these like low fidelity graphics to beautiful lifelike worlds and characters that we see today. We've seen games transition from more linear-based storytelling to having now these massive branching narrative open world games with thousands of hours of content. But now we're starting to see this new trend happening where games are really focusing on creator tools, making it so that you and I can build our own worlds in these gaming worlds. Some of those examples are things like Fortnite, Dreams, Roblox, and Animal Crossing. They've really focused on creating these accessible mechanics so that we can become the creators for our own game worlds. These game worlds have also become extremely social and interactive. You can almost say that games are the modern social network today. If anyone's like me, you probably interacted with your friends and family in Animal Crossing more than you did in real life last year. And it's crazy because there's so many people who are actually in these games concurrently. Roblox has over 36 million daily active users who are building worlds and interacting with people in these gaming worlds. So there's no secret then there, or no surprise there, that when Roblox went public on the stock market a few weeks ago, that its valuation was at $42 billion. Something that's exciting, though, with these gaming worlds is different forms of media and entertainment are looking at how can they bring their content to these gaming worlds. And one of these examples is virtual concerts that we've started to see a whole lot of in the last year. Lil Nas X actually did a concert in Roblox last year and had over 33 million users join to interact and watch this concert. Travis Scott also did one in Fortnite, and there was over 27 million users who joined for this concert. And what was exciting about this is taking kind of the power of what games do. They made these concerts interactive. They made it so that you could be there with your friends, you can fly around, you can interact with the game world. Some of them even introduce mechanics so that you can interact with the artist and what happened with them in real time. Now we're seeing different types of virtual live events happen, not just in video games, but across all different types of media. Another example of a virtual concert is what The Weeknd did, and The Weeknd had done a live concert in TikTok. Again, similar to what Travis Scott and Lil Nas X did, the concert happened fully in this digital world, but users through TikTok were able to actually interact and change the color of what happened, get to influence what the next song would be that he would perform. Us at the Mill, we worked on Sanctum, which was a series of exclusive virtual reality events that transported Lovecraft Country fans into a world inspired by the show. We had actually built 3 experiences in virtual reality that happened over the course of the series. The first one was an art installation in VR, the second was a poetry experience, and the third one was a virtual concert that had been performed in VR by Janelle Monáe. Another example of a virtual concert, but that's done kind of differently, is what Billie Eilish did last year. In this case, it was a live stream of her and her band playing, but they utilized extended reality technologies that were overlaid with the live stream, so it looked really fantastical and beautiful. And they made these visuals that really represented the songs and went with the stories that they were telling throughout the concert. Another example of not necessarily a concert, but an event that happened virtually was Burning Man. People were not able to attend Burning Man in person last year. So what happened? The camps and the artists said, well, we're going to bring Burning Man to virtual reality. And it was kind of awesome how these creators utilize these virtual tools to be able to create these sculptures, to create these experiences. And over the course of the week of Burning Man, people were able to log into virtual reality and actually go to the camps, get to actually experience and interact with these sculptures and pieces of art in the virtual world. And even just last night, I was in South by Southwest in virtual reality. Can't go to Austin, but I could still experience South by virtually. So we've also seen areas like conferences that have been impacted. Conferences now where people can't actually physically go and hold these conferences with hundreds or thousands of people, but they've shifted now to online. AltSpace VR has been an awesome platform that has really embraced how to build and host these large-scale conferences virtually. Microsoft actually did their keynote in AltSpace VR a couple weeks ago. CES did part of their conference in AltSpace VR as well earlier this year. We're seeing other platforms as well, like Mozilla Hubs being utilized, where the cryptocurrency conference happened all online utilizing WebGL. And then there's other platforms as well, where you can connect with colleagues and friends virtually. So Spatial is a great platform where I can actually use my mixed reality headset and get to interact and see some of my colleagues and interact with them in real time. I think a lot of these platforms have spun up to really think about the social aspect, but also the collaboration aspect. So another area that's been hit hard, but that have been looking at doing some amazing, innovative things with creative technology has been the theater space. I would say the quote, "all the world's a stage" from William Shakespeare has never been more applicable, as theater enthusiasts and experts are looking at how do we utilize new emerging technologies to bring the stage to people at home and bring the stage so that it can be experienced anywhere. groups and consortiums like the Audience of the Future have been looking into how to utilize emerging technologies for the past few years. Groups that are part of this are people like Royal Shakespeare Company, Marshmallow Laser Feast, Punch Drunk, Magic Leap, Epic Games, who are really working together to see how can technologies like AR, VR, real-time motion capture, and gaming engines be used to bring theater to the virtual worlds. Other groups like Fifth Wall Forum, it's a great group where they brought together theater directors and actors and producers and paired them with creative technologists to start brainstorming and coming up with innovative ways, experiences, and platforms to be built in the future, to really look at what is the future of immersive theater while utilizing these new emerging technologies. One of my favorite examples from the last year that I experienced was Tempest, the Under Presents the Tempest, done by Tender Claws. So this was actually a full VR experience where I went into the VR experience and realized that there was actually an actor controlling one of the virtual characters in real time, and myself and the other participants were there to almost do live improv. So the actor gave us clues. We were teleported to different fantastical virtual worlds, but we were given cues of what to do to essentially reenact parts of the Tempest. And that was probably one of my first experiences of getting to do something in virtual reality where there was an actor actually controlling the virtual character, probably on the other side of the world. But it really opened up my eyes to what the possibility space could be in this area. Another example that just debuted very recently and blew my mind for how beautiful this experience is Dream, that was produced by the Royal Shakespeare Company and Marshmallow Laser Feast. And in Dream, there's actually actors who are controlled using real-time capture technology, and they're controlling these virtual characters who are essentially acting out parts of Midsummer Night's Dream that I get to experience from home and watch from my computer at home. It was a beautiful experience. The sound, how they made it interactive for the user was really exciting. But what I loved is at the end of the Q&A, the developers were saying that they decided to use new emerging technology not just to create new stories, but they wanted to use technology to provide access, thinking about how do we bring some of these classic stories to new audiences. And I think this was a perfect example of that. Now, a big part of these projects are driven by the Unreal Engine, and we're seeing Unreal being used to bring to life virtual production pipelines that have powered some of these experiences like Dream. They've even empowered some of these great hit shows like The Mandalorian. And Epic have recently announced MetaHumans, a platform so that creators can actually create realistic virtual characters much more easily than how it's been in the past. And I think this is going to open up a lot more avenues for creators to think about building their own stories, utilizing new technologies like Unreal. We've actually seen the trend of these virtual beings grow more and more across all kinds of media. From social virtual influencers like Lil McKella to virtual avatars like what Travis Scott and The Weeknd did with their virtual concerts. But I personally have been really excited about where things are going with AI-driven avatars. Just a couple weeks ago, I was in Clubhouse, getting to know what Clubhouse is and how it works. And I thought it was really exciting because Kooky, a virtual being, was there. And Kooky is 100% powered by AI. It is not a human that is controlling Kooky in the back end. And they utilize GPT-3 language models. What that means is that she can understand you while you speak to her in real time, and she can respond back to you intelligently like any other human can do. And it's kind of crazy because a year ago, the technology was not at that space. So I've kind of been blown away to see the progression of not only how these virtual beings have become more and more realistic in terms of how they look, but also the AI and behavior that exists behind these virtual beings. And just almost like show why this is really exciting. Lucy from Wolves in the Walls, who is a virtual being built by Fable, won an Emmy Award not too long ago for outstanding innovation in interactive media. So I think it shows that there's this really great opportunity for storytellers to think about these technologies and using virtual beings and build amazing stories for our audiences. Now, another category to talk about in terms of creative technology trends is the fashion industry. And I think it's exciting to look at what's happening right now in terms of full body tracking. Snapchat actually now has released this functionality so that with my phone, I can look through it and actually see experiences that track my body in real time. What that enables is that means I can have virtual clothing that I'm wearing. And it's probably not going to be too long in the future where we're going to be walking down the street with our augmented reality, mixed reality glasses. And then as I see people, I'll get to see what their custom bits of virtual clothing are that they're wearing. Another great example is what Balenciaga did not too long ago, where they built a whole beautiful video game world to show off their fall 2021 clothing line collection. It was really great because they were going for high fidelity, high quality. And this was actually the biggest ever volumetric scanning shoot that had ever been done, with over 120 scans for the models. At the end of the experience, everyone got digital lookbooks to see and interact with the clothing after. So they really thought about the end-to-end user experience, how to do something that's completely new in terms of fashion and fashion shows. Now, I can't talk about creative technology and not mention NFTs, which have become such a buzz in the last few weeks. So for those who don't know what NFTs are, it's not non-fungible tokens, which is essentially a unique piece of digital content. So for example, Beeple just sold recently a piece of digital art for $69 million. This one person is now an owner of this piece of digital art. And people are talking about NFTs a whole lot in terms of art and digital assets, but I think that the world of digital fashion is going to be huge for NFTs. If we look at some of the trends in video games, games like League of Legends and Fortnite, they actually have had systems in place for years where people can buy digital skins and digital bits of fashion. I am guilty where I've spent probably way too much money for my skins in League of Legends. And actually, as gamers, we get really upset if the game developers decide to tie any types of power or special abilities if you buy the skin. We just want to pay to look good. And that's something where people have said they don't really feel comfortable paying so much for the game, but they will definitely drop coin to look good in the game. So as we think about as one day we're going to be in real life with potentially these mixed reality digital bits of clothing, I think there's a huge opportunity here to think about how NFTs are going to influence the world of digital fashion. And to be honest, it's kind of nice to think that the future of digital clothing is going to be made of software, and that it didn't get made in a sweatshop and it didn't travel halfway around to get to you. So some interesting food for thought there. Another example here is actually Atari just announced that their 3D sneaker NFT auction is going live, and they're actually doing this being powered by Snapchat so that you can actually try on your virtual shoes before you purchase them on the blockchain. Now, another area of creative tech trends that I want to talk about is physical activations or location-based experiences. Obviously, anything that requires going to a physical location have been shut down for the last year. And this is anything from immersive art experiences to museums, to VR centers. But I think that as things are hopefully getting better, people are going to be craving going to these location-based experiences. Before the pandemic, for myself, I would travel halfway around the world to go to Secret Cinema. Secret Cinema is one of my favorite location-based experiences where you get fully immersed in some of your favorite TV shows and movies, where you get assigned a role from that movie, and you're in a physical location with thousands of people, and people are kind of all acting out the scenes from the movie or TV show. When I went, I got to go there for Secret Cinema, and it was kind of crazy because I found this hidden passageway where I actually crawled through this vent, and at the end of the vent, I ended up in the Upside Down. So it's great to have some of these location-based experiences that get to replicate some of our favorite TV shows and movies. Another one of my favorite examples is Meow Wolf. So Meow Wolf is an art collective located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And this one, what I think is great is there's all these individual art rooms where each room has been curated and put together by a specific artist. But they came up with fun, innovative ways of how you actually can traverse the space. So opening the fridge and realizing that you can crawl through the fridge door into a new location is almost like their version of portals. You can actually slide down the washing machine to get to a whole other level where you can explore and find more art. But I'm happy to hear that Meow Wolf have actually just opened up Area 51 and Omega Mart in Vegas. And they're saying that for later this year, ticket sales are skyrocketing. So there definitely is this love and want for location-based experiences to come back post-pandemic. I think one of the reasons why I love physical activations and why I think there's so much potential here is it really brings together the best of the physical world and the digital world. We can place IoT elements, sensors. We can build experiences that utilize augmented reality, virtual reality. We've seen some location-based experiences that utilize BCIs, so brain-computer interfaces, to think about how users can interact with the space in really innovative and crazy ways. We can use projection mapping. It's really like a great way to create this amazing audience experience that blends together both the physical and digital world, which, by the way, Braden Webb is going to be talking a whole lot more about this in a couple of days. So definitely tune in to his talk then. But definitely in terms of trends, physical activations are going to be coming back, I think, with a vengeance more and more by the end of the year. Now, last thing is I can't talk about creative tech and also mention the metaverse. And for those who might not be sure or are not aware of what the metaverse is essentially building the digital twin of the physical world, but in the virtual world. So almost like what Roblox is doing, or Dreams, where it's creating these fantastical virtual worlds that people can build experiences in. People are also looking at how to make that twin version of what exists also in the physical world. But the metaverse is not going to be just exclusively digital. It will in part be linked to these physical activations, allowing experiences to happen both in the digital world and in the physical world, and ideally influencing one another back and forth. So it has been a crazy year where creative technologies have skyrocketed, and it's great to see artists, directors, producers, musicians, and creators across all kinds of entertainment spaces utilize technologies to create new stories and to create great new experiences. At the end of the day, though, it isn't just about the technology, but about creating damn good experiences for our audiences across the globe. So thank you for listening to my talk. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks.